Road Trippers, the season has tipped off and is in full swing. Are you using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy basketball? We are. You watch and listen to the podcast, and Rich and Channing have made their sleeper picks of the week. So get some skin in the game and start playing fantasy basketball on the Sleeper app. Turn your basketball knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app. It's the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any other fantasy app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from either pregame or live. It's as easy as that. Again, pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money if your picks win. Download and sign up on the Sleeper app today. Use our promo code Road Trippin, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Sleeper is currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Cheers. Welcome to this edition of Road Trippin. I'm Allie Clifton, Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson.
Cracked a beer.
You should have. Wow. Damn it. By the way, how do people find out about Chosen Family Wines? Because I just updated my thing.
Oh, Chosen
I'm about
Family
to get a lot of wine, huh?
Huh?
I'm about to get a lot of wine, right?
No, not that much. You have options, right? And you could always, one thing that I feel like, and this is neither here nor there, but the truth, you should be able to get what you want, not what we want to give you. So like if you're involved in like what we have, you should be able to cultivate your own package based not on your budget, but based on your taste. And that's why we have different wines from like rosé to Cabernet. So depending on what you want, you can have one of these or one of those or 4 of everything.
Which fair, I will say that you guys do allow that, but KYP, I like when decisions are made for me. So thanks.
That's what she said.
All right. I do want to get your thoughts because some people have reached out to me and they're very curious.
Yeah.
And you guys are very passionate when it comes to the NCAA.
Yeah.
So I actually did some research, and according to Business of College Sports, this was early October, and now we can add to the list. Michigan just got in line with 31 other states that allow high school students to be a part of NIL deals based off of their name, image, and likeness. California and Oregon are also a part. And I imagine the two of you with your beautiful children who will one day be able to be a part of this as well. What are your thoughts? Have you seen
him? My friend kids definitely not.
Channing, yes, I've seen Margot play volleyball.
I know. Oh, let's not get into that. She didn't make the club team. She was hurt. But she's getting on another one. There's 100 of them. She just didn't make the one. But it was 70 kids that tried out for 2 teams. It was.
Let Margot know that a lot can be taken, and it'll only motivate her more. I give her all the hugs, though.
And honestly, Channing, respect, and I say this with the utmost respect. It's like coming from like your bloodline, like you were cut from so many teams growing up. So it's like you can relate to her. So many.
That's what I told her. I said, hey, look, I got cut from a bunch of shit. So I said, fuck this. And then you get psycho, and then you don't want to get cut from anything. And now look, we're luscious kingdom.
Okay, but NIL in high school, how do you feel? High school.
To be honest, fuck it. Get that money. If it is a business deal, if I'm from, okay, so let's say Hendrix, my son, or even Margot, we were just talking about her. Margot turns out to be from freshman year, Gatorade Player of the Year in volleyball. Her family lives here. She's in the community. She is a wholesome, wonderful person that can benefit another business. Why can't that business support her in her endeavor to continue to get better? To do commercials. Hi, I'm Margot Fry for Lake Oswego Dry Cleaning. Come on over here. This is where my parents have gone for 20 years. So the business relationship, if the dry cleaner or the car place feels that it's going to help them do business, take that chance. If not, then that's on you. You don't have to. Look at all now, hopefully the kid gets his life right, but look at all the people that supported Mikey Williams. Where's all that money going? Puma, he had his own shoe. Puma and all this. Now he's in jail. So like for me, take that chance.
That's gotta be one of the,
biggest bag fumblings of all time.
And I think there is and lies another question to the whole process as well.
Allie,
really quickly,
it's
really quickly.
Whether he's 18 or 25, it's a business. If you think that person is going to help your business, you're going to go, hey, let's create a relationship. So why, because it's a sport, should that not be allowed? I just don't get it.
How really quickly, how old are the U.S. gymnasts that go and win gold, that go and win silver?
Like
Anywhere
14?
from 15, 16. And then they have to choose, am I going to get money or do I get to go to college? Right? So they're doing a math equation. Is my endorsements going to be worth $1 million where I could then go pay to be in college? Or then I can then go from a position of like, I can't practice gymnastics while I'm at Alabama, but like, it's like, wait, so if gymnasts can be professional at 14, 15 and get income, for a while they couldn't, the NILs and other things help change that. When you look at tennis players, how old is Coco Gauff? Right? Like Coco Gauff, when she was going to semifinals and stuff at 16, 17 years old, she's a high school kid. So I think that if there is money there, when we're talking about name, image, and likeness, you're not paying to a certain degree is pay to play, because a lot of these schools are saying we can throw you the most money. But some of this is like, if you have an opportunity, amateurism has been dead since the 60s, 70s. Once the TV deals, once they started changing, like right now, USC, and UCLA are going to the Big Ten. Not a lot of people think about that, whatever, okay, because it's football, that's what they're talking about. But what about the basketball teams that have to travel? What about the women's basketball teams that have to travel? What about the soccer teams that now have to travel cross country that play more games than football players do, right?
But they don't care
about that. In the way I'm saying, so it's like and I say this is that like schools have been making financial moves, not for the best idea of their students, not in the bet when we don't want them to miss school. Then why is UCLA and USC now shipping the two of the richest schools in the country are now in a different conference so they can get another $15 million in television money so that they can pay their coaches so I'm saying it's like amateurism has been gone and dead for a long time. So the way I look at this is that there's going to be mistakes, whether you're a professional or whether you're a child star and you're making money, whether it's on TV or whether it's on a basketball court. Mistakes are going to be made. Hopefully, the opportunity to make some money can now be given to people that if someone wants to pay them to do something at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old because they have the talent and ability, then they should have that opportunity. Right? Or don't let actors be actors until they're 18 years old and don't allow them to make money. Put it all in a trust. But that's okay if their parents say it's okay.
What about NASCAR? Think about that. NASCAR, like all these other sports, is just wild for us to think football, basketball, baseball has been getting paid since high school. Mm-hmm. Swimmers,
yeah, like they can do a signing bonus. They can do a signing bonus in high school. You can get a signing bonus in high school and still go to college. They own your rights.
Let me ask you guys this, because you guys are two millionaires who have earned everything that you have gotten, everything that you have received.
Say it again.
I also think that you are very intelligent and you've experienced so much and you speak with that understanding when we're having this conversation. Is there anything that would concern you if your children were in that position, right? What are things that you would even be like,
who's reading that fucking contract? Who's reading that contract? And like at the end of the day, are you taking $100,000 now to have to pay somebody $1 million 4 years later? Like that 100,000 isn't worth it. Like you know, depending on your situation. Also, to me, is this beneficial for your future self? Like who's thinking about that? A lot of these kids are like, oh, $250,000, I'll take that deal.
Yeah.
It could be a CBD, a weed deal. It could be a car deal. But all of a sudden, they're excluding the other deals that they may get in the future. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that's hard to, like, you have to understand who you are when you don't know who you are. That's what's hard, right? Yeah. So signing with Puma when you're, and I'm just using that, it could be Nike, when you're 18 for a low deal because you're getting free merch, when Under Armour or, what's the other one that's blowing up right now? Not Under Armour, but New Balance or Adidas wants to pay you millions, and they can't because you got a bag of clothes. Like you got to see the future when it's hard to see the future.
Yeah, the thing is like, yes, there's negatives. There was negatives to the system. Reggie Bush doesn't have a Heisman now. And this dude was making hundreds of millions of dollars for college football, for the NCAA, for USC, and he took some money and he wasn't supposed to, and those were the rules at the time. I think now the Supreme Court has said that that rule is unjust. Give him his Heisman back. So my thing is this, is that there were bad people in that mix before. Jason Terry, our Wildcat, got into some shit with money from an agent. So it's like a lot of these times, it's like there were bad things that happened before. This system didn't go to the Supreme Court because it was perfect. It was fucking flawed. So I think to open it up, yeah, there's never a positive without an equal and opposite negative or reaction. So it's like there's going to be negative things to it, but you can't control to a certain degree the negative, or you try and handle it. You should make sure you're having good representation. There should be lawyers that are out there reading every single thing, and those are the things that like you have to learn, and it's going to take mistakes. I think athletes today are far better at professional athletes are far better at taking care of their money than they were in the 90s, than they were in the 80s, right? There's more money, but we've heard all the horror stories, and there's still, again, I've had fraud against me, different guys that, like, you still have them, but we're far more intelligent. We have a much better understanding, but that's taken 20 plus years to get there, in my opinion. And it's still not perfect, but we're much more further along. And I think in 20 years, if we're looking at the NILs, yes, there might be high school courses teaching you about it, teaching you about taxes. There might be family courses that can help families kind of manage this and help read contracts. These are all of the things that will come over time. But to say these old groups of people only get the money and all of the kids don't get any access to it, I thought that is bullshit. And I'm glad that the Supreme Court and I can agree on one thing.
As if there's a lot out there that you don't.
There's a lot that I don't agree with them on, especially recently.
Thank you for weighing in on that. I do find it very interesting and intriguing. Hey, Road Trippers, the season has tipped off and is in full swing. Are you using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy basketball? We are. You watch and listen to the podcast, and Rich and Channing have made their sleeper picks of the week. So get some skin in the game and start playing fantasy basketball on the Sleeper app. Turn your basketball knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app. It's the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any other fantasy app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from either pregame or live. It's as easy as that. Again, pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money if your picks win. Download and sign up on the Sleeper app today. Use our promo code Road Trippin, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Sleeper is currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, back to the NBA, little truth or trash. Let's talk about the Pelicans. If Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram both stay healthy, they'll both be all-stars. Truth or trash?
Trash.
Zion. To get two all-stars, you got to be top 4. It's hard to get 2 all-stars and not be top 4. Now, I think they have a chance to be a top 4, but it has to be then. Well, now because is CJ out? Does CJ have a little something? I feel like CJ just had a little something. Yeah, so
they have a chance. They're
if they're in the top 4, if they're in the top 4 at the All-Star break and CJ's missed 10, 15 games, no Trey Murphy, that means those 2 dudes are fucking balling. And if those 2 dudes are balling, if they're in the top 4, then I can see it. But if CJ comes back, a lot of times it's like if Brandon's averaging 21 and CJ's averaging 18, it's kind of hard. And they're the 5th seed. Like that's maybe I think first alternate. Like if someone gets sick or someone gets hurt, then those are the guys that get popped in. But I don't see them as just like these are the Paul George, Kawhi. No, Zion will get votes in.
Okay, you agree.
And then
James Harden made his debut in a Clipper uniform. 111-97 loss to the Knicks. He went 6 of 9 from the floor, 17 points, 6 assists, 31 minutes. After the loss, Harden said there's unlimited possibilities when talking about he, Paul George, Russ, and Kawhi all playing together. Are you guys buying what he's selling?
No.
Yes.
Ooh. The spacing is shitty. Very, very shitty. And you're going to say, is he going to shoot 11 shots every night? Who's shooting 11 shots, Richard?
You still think that when it comes down to it, T. Lue ain't gonna play the lineup that he feels right now is the honeymoon, right? It's like we're gonna figure this out, and then some people are gonna have to make sacrifices, blah blah blah. Like, hey Russ, and again, it doesn't have to be Russ, but we'll just use him for the sake. Russ, we're gonna bring you out at the 4-minute mark, right? Or let's say this, like James, we're gonna bring you out at the 4-minute mark, and then Russ, you're gonna go all the way through the first 3 minutes of the second. Right. So it's like, yeah, you might not start, but we're going to give you enough time to get your rhythm. And then, you know what I'm saying? So like T. Lue ain't going to be at the end of the game with those 4 guys and somebody else. Like he's going to have a different shooter in there because you're obviously, if it's Paul George, Kawhi, and James Harden and Russell, you're going to leave one person. And if you throw another big in there, you might leave 2 people. Like that's not great late game. That's just not what I see from T. Lue. Right now, it's a matter of figuring out the lineups, the situations, the changes. So I still think the possibilities are endless. James Harden is lifted up like that's what he does. In Houston, he was that dude. In Brooklyn, they had the number 1 offense and they were cruising if it wasn't for injury. In Philly, he helps them get an MVP. Just right now, he can't, as long as he's not dependent on being a 20-plus scorer in the postseason, because those guys are expected to raise their level in the postseason and be somewhat consistent. As long as he's not expected to do that, which he's not with this group, he's expected to give them 10-plus assists a night and space the floor shooting. That's just something that Russell can't do. He can get the pace going and get, I think, other guys' shots. But as far as late game, execution, space the floor, get a good shot, James, we got to be honest, man. James is one of the best maybe to ever do it at it. He ain't the old James in Houston, but James Harden is still one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, I just don't believe it. I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen. Name me another team with 4 ball dominant players on the court at one time. Never happened.
Well, there's an odd man out because there was Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. No, I'm just saying. So there's most likely going to be, but there's going to be an odd man out. It doesn't mean that everybody has to finish every single game. It's like, come on, bro. Like,
have you ever seen?
So where do you rank the?
Name me another example.
Where do you rank the like? I think that Russell is going to be the backup point guard. I think he's going to be the backup point guard. That's what I think. And then we talk about
how many minutes is Russ, James Harden going to get? He's used to.
Oh, James is going to get James. 32? James will get between 30 between 30 and 35. I'm saying 30 on the low end, 35 at the high end. Right, unless he's really cooking. Like I'm just saying, he was a 20-10 last year for the 4th seed and led the league in assists.
And was miserable and said, "Don't put me in a system." So
no, but that's okay. He is a system.
Okay, I have a question for the both of you. What is the recipe to success without LeBron James on the floor?
Pull and pray.
That's a good one, Channing.
Dog, listen, that ain't it. It's not going to happen.
And guess what? It's not just with the Lakers. We have seen this over teams, even in Cleveland. That record was not beautiful.
Oh, it was.
Well, what 0. Is it when Jokic got an MVP based off of that? When he's on the floor, they have a historic offense. When he's off the floor, they have the per whatever points per get as like the 2005 Charlotte Bobcats. Like it's like great players are just there's some holes that just can't be filled.
Which ones are those?
LeBron James fucking not being on the court, Jokic not being on the court. There's certain guys like that's why Steph Curry. It's always Chris Paul's brought in to help the Steph Curry minute. Chris Paul was brought in to help with those minutes. Then you're worried about Jokic's minutes. That was one of the narratives. LeBron James everywhere he's been. That's just what it means to be a great player. You hope to have a second great player like Anthony Davis that can help you out and help that. But he's been great. But he hasn't helped eat up the minutes that they were hoping. That's why LeBron has played more minutes than they were supposed to. That's where all of that. And again, I'm not blaming Anthony Davis, but like if he, like Paul George, right? Paul George, when Kawhi went out, he won a playoff series, right? Won a playoff series, led him to the conference finals. Paul George has proven, like, get on my back. I can take teams to multiple rounds of the playoffs, right? Like, now you're just searching. You're just get
on my back.
But I'm saying Paul George has proven. Paul George has proven that. Paul George has proven that. And Anthony Davis has gotten out of the first round one time as the stud star. So point is this, is that if LeBron James ain't in the game and Anthony Davis can't eat up those minutes, then there is no answer. If you can't stagger your two best players and have some sort of consistency with performance, then there is no answer. So they have the player.
How much do you guys think, though, too? Because I know you watch the games, and it's not an excuse. It's the reality of the situation right now. 4 of their top 8 guys, rotational guys, are not available on the floor. Do you feel like
I'm not worried about the Lakers? I'm not. Yeah, I'm not worried about the
when
Lakers
you see those numbers, the plus 46.2 point differential with LeBron James on the floor, or the negative with him off right now, there's an understanding of this.
Who's your other ball creator? You have no creator.
Well, Austin Reeves, who's struggling. Vincent's been. How about this? This is the best question. This is the best question. What is AD's plus minus without LeBron on the court?
That's a great question.
They got to play a whole different style of basketball when Bron is out than when he is in, and that takes time. And then you need 2 people to go, hey, we got this screen and roll that we're going to go to, and that's going to work every game.
If his is positive, then if you're a coach, that's what coaches are looking at, right? Okay, what lineup can I put with AD in the second unit that gets us even or gets us? Because Bron, we're winning the minutes. Because he's fucking great. He's a very good player. We've said it a million times. He's a great player. But you got to find something to do because you can't play the 40-year-old 40 minutes a night. It's not wise, right? No. Pop was able to conserve Tim Duncan. I watched it.
From the bench.
Well, it doesn't matter. I watched it on the bench TV from home while they were winning a championship. I watched it. He was able to do it. And Tim Duncan was healthy through the postseason. Like Gregg Popovich purposely wouldn't start Tim Duncan in the fourth because if we were up 15 and then it boosted to 24, then Tim, you got the fourth quarter off. If the lead went from 15 to 5, then he would put Timmy in, we'd finish the game or whatever. But he was always looking for ways to not put Tim in the game.
Really?
Well, yeah, he's the latter years, yeah. If you think about, like, Tim went to the postseason, 18 years in a row? Went to 7 finals? Because they went 6. They went to 6 finals. He won 5
to 20 years.
He won 1,000 games. He won 1,000 games. I played in 1,100.
Yeah, that's
like, what the fuck? Like, yo, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, you had to find ways to keep him off.
Truth or trash? Shaq really did weigh 415 pounds during his final championship run with the Lakers. Will you ask him that, Channing? 415 pounds.
No, I could see he is huge though. Like
it's accurate.
285.
It's accurate.
And
it's accurate.
He dwarfs me, and I'm taller than him.
The biggest Shaq ever was that third year that they won the championship on their three-peat. He was the biggest human being I'd ever seen. That's when he was like shaved head, his face was like this, his shoulders were like this. He was the biggest human being I'd ever seen. Like what he did to us.
What are you doing with that?
But he's 7 foot, and it's like Zion. He was a 7 foot Zion. Zion's 300 pounds, and he's 6'6". No. Think about it. He was built like Zion, except instead of being 6'6", he was 7 feet.
That's insane.
And mean.
And Channing, you had to guard that?
Yeah. That's why I started shooting threes. I tried to tell that story.
He was on him, but he wasn't guarding him. Because when Shaq posted up, you couldn't see Channing.
This is also true.
You could not see him.
Speaking of truth or trash, I've seen an NBA player not guard someone because they smelled so bad.
Trash. I'm not gonna let you. I'll talk some shit. No, I'm not gonna let your body odor get me taken out the game because I'm not playing defense. I might talk some shit to the coach, but yeah, no body odor.
There've
Are
been
there guys
mad
that smell bad?
stinky fools in the league.
Yeah,
Mad
you play
stinky.
you play 1,100 games, you might forget some deodorant. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some guys that might just smell like liquor or weed or just
Yeah.
they
Oh
smell like the
God.
vodka, the Henny, like they smell like that shit. So it's like sometimes that shit's coming out of people's pores. I was very lucky. I don't know how. Alcohol, I never ever smelled like alcohol ever in this day. I
Oh,
never
lucky
understood when people
bastard.
said that. Yeah, I was like, oh, the sweat, I can smell it, but I'm just like, really? I
I thought you were going to say you never drank. One more for you. Truth or trash? Someone trash talked me so bad on the court. I still think about it to this day.
true.
Who?
Not the talking trash. No, we don't need to get into detail. The talking trash. There's a difference between talking trash and then saying shit that gets you punched in your face.
Yeah. So was it like basketball talking trash or like let me punch you in the face talking trash?
It was.
Safe to say you both had both of them.
No, you do it. It's like, oh, you're talking like this because there's a referee and 25,000 people here, right? Like watching, and you know, like that's so.
Dirk Nowitzki was the trash talker where like I had nothing, I couldn't do nothing with it. He was like, give me the burger. Give me the burger. He's just absolutely, and I can't do nothing. He's an inch taller than me shooting this. And I'm like, damn, okay, I'm getting fucked up here. Let me try to get this switch, right? Pride is the fall of every man. I said, let me get Sean Marion. Then they start running different plays. Now
They had your ass moving. Now
they're hunting me. The minute you start getting hunted,
lonely place.
Oh, lonely place. But you had to take them lumps. And I was like, Isaiah, come get me. No, you're going to eat it. We're already down 20. Guard him. I was like, man, fuck.
All right, that's another edition of Road Trippin. Bye.
See ya.